Hey guys, it's Kusi. Welcome back to episode 4 of trying to figure out how to not die in the most simple melee abilities this game has to offer. In this 0 to Hero Ice Cube Death Knight edition. In the last episode we got ourselves a quite comfy place in the backpack of every party I had, as I was just non-stop goofing while trying to set a new world record of getting clapped by every ability out there. We also had our first 2 +8 keys done, which coincidentally both ended up being Algata Academy, and we ended up on an item level of 498 as well as a mythic plus rating of 1630. Yet in this episode we need to refocus, going back to the roots of an almost 3.5k main. We have to cool down, get frosty, you know what I mean. No! And to do that, we will in fact go back to some lower keys, some of them not by choice, to really get our shit together in order to perform on a higher level. Because not only do we do lower keys, we also attempt to get 2 more +8 keys done in order to have 2 possible mid-track options in the vault. Speaking of, we also will have the vault to open at the end of the video. And just to top this episode off, I found a tank that apparently is the record holder of no fucks given when it comes to anybody but himself. So if that sounds like an episode that makes you want to get up and show your brother some, well, brotherly love, then make sure to hit the like button, and if you're new here, consider subscribing as it is for free and it would mean you will never miss another upload. And without any further ado, make sure to grab a drink, get comfy and enjoy the 4th episode, the Rehabilitation Arc. So after a very demoralizing Hall 7 in the last episode, we ended up with a Ruby 6, which is not too bad just for score purposes and for more quests to upgrade all of our stuff. And because it's been a few days since I actually played the DK, I felt refreshed and ready to do some magic. Okay, let's go! I also mixed it up a bit this time and invited people around my own item level instead of some 520 giga chat, even though I think this is a dumb idea. But here we are, so let's see how that works out. We started off with the bigger pull and lust, which is common enough to do in Fortified for sure. And do you see the big brown circle below my feet? Yes. You do? Because I didn't when I was playing. Weapon already damaged, let's go! Yet besides me doing what I do best, we also had a fair amount of body pull in this run. This just prolonged the fights for no reason, and when we pulled that one mini-boss before Meladrosa, our tank got clapped in a heartbeat and probably also decided to take a few days off, as he released and then just dipped the game. Bruh. Oh man, what a start to an episode. Because doing a +5 doesn't make any sense, I just lowered the key to +3 and went to redo the dungeon. But without being dumb this time. Even sidestepping out of the circle like it's 1982. So this really helped me. A lower key level where stuff doesn't one-shot you and you can focus more on your rotation instead of, well, everything, is really what I needed. I mean, I got very used to the opener by making sure I got some runic power to start with to instantly pro killing machine after pillar. And the damage even just with pillar is nuts already. Not sure what the tank pulled out of his ass on the final trash pull, but he was showing us what's good there for sure. Leading to a 3 chest with roughly 20 seconds left, I'll take that. So the tank's DPS really carried this key, as the other 2 DPS clearly didn't do the dungeon on their current characters. But this means we gotten ourselves a new +6 key, and it's Brackenhide. Now, Bracken is one of those keys that is just really annoying at lower key level, as you can't just go into that thinking, oh, let's see what will happen. If you don't know what happens, the first boss will be a gatekeeper for you until you figure out what happens. On keys that are 6 or above, this shouldn't apply anymore. So I gathered a band of people with one specific thing to keep in mind. The Guardian was pretty big when it comes to gear, and he was helping his 480 item level balanced friend to get into keys. I thought that's a fair trade, and I believe that because of the lack of HP on his body, the tank won't do any dumb things. Well, it turns out, first pack took 9 deaths and a bloodlust. I'm still not a fan of those pulls and puck groups, to be fair. Too many random attacks going off, not enough communication about using CC on those mobs that just tunnel random people. Maybe I'm too dumb to understand the value of this pull, but nonetheless. I died once again ripping aggro, even though I was watching the tank pull them before I even did anything. First boss however went without any problems, and so we continued to the arguably equally as annoying trash between the Warband and the Morningwood boss. And here is where I absolutely got confused. Maybe you can help me here, since as you know, I'm not a gamer of higher keys. We kept chain pulling, everything, the entire time, non-stop, chain pulling, and also big pulls while doing so. Now here's why I believe this is a dumb idea. It's because a lot of the damage that goes out to the party is not avoidable. We can't reactivate those cauldrons for the disease dispels, and once you got 2 of those trees that spawn them little flowers, you got people taking bleed damage all over the place. This chain pull adventure ultimately led to a full wipe, so we took the walk of shame and we had to redo the entire thing. Now, is this how you play the trash in higher keys? This has to be my assumption, as the tank is well geared and has a decent score. Let me know in the comments. At this point I was ready to quit my own key, as this was neither fun nor successful, and the healer even left before I could. I don't blame him, I would have done the same for sure. And so we once again end up with the key below 6, which I once again tuned down to 3 for another attempt. At least I'm getting people rather quick for +3s, so we go again.
Okay, let's go.
This time I got a somewhat geared tank and applied with his 2 DPS buddies, which led to smooth sailing for a 2 chest. And an item that I traded away to the paladin right away like a good girl. Now I got some good news and I got some bad news. The bad news is, I only ended up with a +5 key. The good news is, it's Azure Vault. People love Azure Vault. But before we meet some lovely people, hi! Let me quickly remind you that we are on the road to 10k subscribers on the YouTube, and if we manage to achieve that goal, we will have a 24-hour stream of Torment with a face cam and a potential Pink Panther onesie.
Oh my god, I love it! I love it!
You heard me. So if you watched this so far without subscribing, I mean, come on, do the magic, make it happen. Also join the Discord for future stuff in the War Within. Now back to the video. But something funny happened here. I've got recognized by more than one.
What?
And since I did the party, I can assure you all of them queued up on their own. I'm still not over the fact how weird it is to be recognized in game, but I really appreciate everybody being so chill for sure. I asked them if they applied because they saw my name in the finder and they said no, so let's send it. In here I could tell my little training session in the lower keys paid off already. I wasn't thinking too much about what to press, and so I was able to dodge some one-shots this time. Well, besides me ripping aggro even though the tank did more damage than I. Weird how that works sometimes. I also feel like I gotten a bit better in calculating my cooldowns, so I have them ready when necessary, and what can I say? We zoom through this bad boy. Yet don't worry, we got one more Azure Vault later, so we will return. Rechesting this one even though we apparently missed the frog, this wasn't too bad. This warrior called My Little Pony also tried to trash talk me by trying to give me 2 augment runes so I do more damage, even though he was 20 item level ahead and barely did any more. You silly muppet. Now then. Rechesting F5 obviously means we end up with the +8 key, and because this one went so horrible last time, I was keen on doing it better. Ruby life pools +8. I had one specific goal in mind towards the first boss: don't die. More specifically, don't die to the one-shots. And honestly, I absolutely forgot about those Earthshaper mobs in the beginning. That tectonic slam hurts like hell and we all should try to interrupt it. You can't kick it, but stun or displacements work. And I should keep grip on cooldown there for sure. And on the next pack, I make sure to focus the Shaper so I can interrupt it, until I got distracted by someone body pulling another pack. I was actually amazed on how long the trash lived, but what annoyed me was our tank just YOLO jumping into every pull, while my slow wheelchair speed having ass just can't keep up. Always late to the party, man. And so I was also late on the boss. I didn't have any cooldowns ready, so I waited them out, just to press them and then Chillstorm hitting me, which meant I had to move out. It didn't even come to mind to wait for the boss mechanic to use my stuff. Rookie gamer mistake. Yet no dying on my end. And so we continue to the actual annoying minigame of this dungeon. Who body pulls the fire dragon? But first we need to get rid of the storm boy. And I kid you not, that sucker hurts.
Oh really?
However, quickly I found out that maybe the healing isn't on point here. Maybe our shaman didn't expect all the damage coming in and he wasn't ready to deal with it. So we need to help by reducing as much incoming damage as possible. We do that by kicking obviously, using defensive like AMS or AMZ whenever we can, and something I learned throughout the dungeon, we need to interrupt the flame dance. This one, similar to the tectonic blast from earlier, is not kickable but gets managed with stuns relatively quickly. Displacements also work as well. Unfortunately, I took blind out of my talent so I can skill AMZ, because I thought that might be smarter in here. Guess blind would also be good. Now coming up to the third big fire elemental, this is a clutch situation. If you are a ranged player, get your ass to the party. Don't stand outside of the group, otherwise you will pull the fire dragon when he flies over.
Come here, boy!
I didn't say anything because I assumed they knew that, given that their experience in terms of score would suggest so. So we made this just extra difficult for no reason, which is why we gathered a total amount of 12 deaths before getting to the final boss. Did I say 12? I meant 13. Apparently Blaze of Glory, which is a channel those flame dancers do when dying, not only does some swirlies on the ground, but also hits everybody guaranteed in the 3-yard range.
You're joking.
I didn't know that, to be honest. Second boss is also always a box of chocolate.
You never know what you're gonna get.
If some gamers don't position themselves proper, this can get really messy. I personally like to pull the boss a bit towards the ranges, as I don't expect them to move on pull. Yet I guess we jump in again. Fortunately, I'd say we got a bit lucky with the placement of the first boulder, and so we started to move to a proper direction together. Didn't do too bad on damage either, which makes me happy. So my happiness got crushed pretty quickly, as we farmed another 3 deaths due to the incoming party damage just being too much, but ultimately leading to a still rather comfortable and most importantly successful end of the dungeon. Another 31 rating and the third +8 done. I was quite happy considering how the other ruby went earlier. And just to get me as rock hard as the excavating blast hit me in the very first dungeon, Blizzard gifted me a +9 Azure Vault.
So good.
So as I do, I lowered it to 8 and got a full band of crazy fuckers to finish this week off with a bang. And without any further ado, I present to you the first pull of this run. Keep in mind, they didn't say anything. I was not expecting this to be fair, but I'd like to say that I was very able to hold my own here. Also, I learned that you can pull those 4 flowers and then just jump down. Instead of running around, they will simply snap down too. So you can just play them with the trees. I reckon this saves a bit of time too. And believe it or not, I even survived the first boss. Look at me, mom. Turns out you only have to use AMS to live. After the boss, I was a bit confused why the tank just tried to speedrun pulling those packs, since none of us was able to catch up to him in time. But hey, who am I to doubt such a gamer, am I right? I was more amazed about me not dying to random things, until I got shafted by my co-gamers in this key. See, I kinda expected a slow fall, but when the mage was down already, I assumed he's gonna buff slow fall on me once I get in range. So I trusted, and leaped. That's rough, man. Though I was able to take part in the last skip, as I was reading chat and knew what he planned to do. The tank just wanted to take those 2 big mobs and pull them to the side, while all of us go over to the boss. He would have just shadow meld afterwards, but it got a bit scuffed in the end. Yet I'm still not good at playing the third boss, as the tank was high on damage in the end. That is so rough. And needless to mention, those guys knew what they were doing. Giga gamers, so we ended the key with a +3, 21 rating, no item, and I said thank you like a little bitch that I am. But now, even though I did get my second myth-track item from the vault, I wanted to do one specific key before the week was over. Knockhood is the only key I didn't do yet at all, so I applied. A lot, and I mean a lot, but eventually I got in. It was only a +4, but that's okay, and boy was I pumping. Well, sometimes. Another one of those confident runs for sure, as I was certain I won't die to random things on such a key level, and believe it or not, I didn't die at all. We even did a cheeky last pull with the big horse boys and the boss combined, which was pretty fun. Though because we lacked a bit of juice, we only 2-chested this puppy for a beautiful score of 169 and a ring that I don't want, but I couldn't trade, unfortunately. But this now brings us to the first big vault of the series. Double myth track has to be an upgrade, and while I was posing in front of the vault, I thought to myself to hopefully get hands. Hands would be great. And look at that. I even got a trinket that some warriors would die for, but since I'm good on trinkets and it's not simming well for me, the hands were the only option. A 43 item level increase after all, and we can still upgrade it eventually. And after upgrading our Ashkando to 522 as well, we end this episode with an item level of 504 and a dungeon score of 1904. Now, because this journey ends on timing all keys on +10, the score itself is not so important right now, rather the progress of gearing and playing. But now, since I got used to a certain key level, I kinda wanna stay there. But for now, I wish you the most fantastic day whenever you see this. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Take care.